Okay, morning everyone. Welcome briefing on Wednesday the 27th. Still feels cold out there. That's because we've got this easterly wind with us. It's been with us for the last couple of weeks. So I put the overnight chart on here. If you remember yesterday, anybody saw the briefing, there was a cold front lurking in the North Sea, and it shows up on the overnight chart coming down over East Anglia, and then if you move it on another 12 hours to lunchtime, it's disappeared. But I got a feeling that this is partly what this upper cloud we're seeing, or mid-level cloud we're seeing rolling across us now is. It's actually an old, weak, decaying front, and a lot of cloud in the North Sea. You can see we're in a sort of easterly flow here, much lighter winds in the centre of the country. I think over us, yeah, perhaps a little bit lighter than yesterday, but we underestimated the winds yesterday, I think. Pressure has been rising a little bit more. I think it was about 1,024 yesterday, now 1,032, so a little bit more stability to it, which seems to be putting a lid and an inversion in place. You'll see those on the ascent. So TAF's fairly short, 0306 knots, a little bit more northeasterly than forecast yesterday. 10k vism broken at 3.5. Well, that's hopefully what we're going to get when this stuff breaks up and we start to get some thermal activity. Upper winds, more or less over us, just slightly north of east. Middle of the country, 10 knots, down over the south coast and over the channel, 20 knots. So we're probably in between 10 to 15 over Lasham, and a little bit lighter to the north. Now, the sat pic shows this stuff rolling in off the North Sea and thickening up. And yeah, I think this is sort of partly related to a front and partly related just to moist air coming off the North Sea. But hopefully it's thin enough that as we get some heating, it starts to thin out and break up, and we get some thermal activity underneath it, and it starts to dissipate. BBC forecast was a little bit less optimistic than that. It showed sort of a cloud sheet all day, and they talked about temperatures around about 14 degrees in the south here. It's pretty much what it shows here. Over an area maybe a bit warmer in London, but that seems to be the general trend. Dew points are reasonably high at the moment, so fingers crossed dew points will go down a little bit during the day as well as this stuff thins out. So looking at the soundings, if you believe that there's a strong inversion there which is going to trap the cloud with a temperature sort of 13, I think, with dew points about 4. We're looking at sort of 3,500 to 4,000 feet, and then lots of clouds sat in this area here, which is certainly the problem. And that, according to the predicted forecast, stays there. Perhaps the line comes a little bit further apart just here later in the day, but there's still a strong inversion, and you can see that on the actual sounding. You've got a low level inversion here, which is going to take sort of a little bit to break, but not much, not like yesterday. But then you've got quite a strong one at about 4,000 feet up to 5,000 feet, which is mean that cloud will sit in there for quite a while. It linger. It's above freezing, so it's not as if it's going to stay there for a long time. We've also got to remember that's the 6 o'clock ascent this morning, so it's different air than we've actually got over us now. That cloud was not rolling in until about 8 o'clock, but I still think there's an element of an inversion there that's going to hold the cloud in there. So that's the pessimistic side of the forecast. Now you can go on to Top Meteo and have a look at the optimistic side of the forecast. So they're showing by sort of 10 o'clock breaking up into cumulus, and that's sort of staying there for most of the day, 4 to 6 8s really. Certainly by lunchtime, bits are spread out as well. You can see in there. So, slightly more optimistic, and in terms of thermal heights, by sort of 12, 1 o'clock, 3,500 feet, maybe 1,500 meters down to the south, around our area, and out to the west. So, they're on the optimistic side. The actual data is a little bit more pessimistic, so you take your choice really. Have a look at it, see what you think, and see what happens. Hopefully late morning, by lunchtime it'll be breaking up and we'll get something out of it. Okay, tomorrow definitely soarable in the south, but perhaps a sort of lower inversion tomorrow, so a little less cloud. Not quite so good soaring. Okay, and that really covers the forecast. I think it's one of those look out the window and work out if you want to take a launch and when you want to take a launch. Airspace wise, slightly complicated today. There's 1 or 2 things going on. We've NOTAM'd, we're going to be busy. Hopefully we're going to be busy. There's obviously bits of other stuff and drops down here over sort of Weymouth area. The danger area here is active, and there's parachuting, which is number 22, the Everley danger area, which is the northern danger area on Salisbury Plain.
400M doing it yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was outside the danger area.
Yeah, they're forecast to be dropping. There we go. Parachuting. It says 5 nautical mile radius of Everley. The danger area has been activated up to 19,000 feet, but they'll be parachuting from 12:30 to 3 o'clock. And that was active, as Jordan said yesterday. Other things going on, parachuting at Bryce, but that's right over the top of the airfield. That's an equestrian event here. And the other one is Sywell, active today with aerobatics, 11 to 11:20 local, 13 to 13:20 local, and 15 to 15:20 local. So, short aerobatic sorties. This has popped up, number 34 and 36, parachuting out towards Hereford, Staffordshire area, and then Hereford. And it's one of those cones that they're just displaying here. You can see that the way it's laid out, surface 3,000 feet is just 3 nautical mile radius, and then the higher you go at 6,000 feet, they've got a 7 nautical mile radius cone, and then at 12,000 feet it's 9 nautical mile radius. Remember, parachute zones are not technically controlled airspace. You just need to ensure that you're not going to endanger anybody if you do go into them. And this seems to be leading on from what the military are doing. I think the civilian world have picked up on this, and they're now NOTAMing big wide parachute zones. One of them here at Tillington in Staffordshire, wherever exactly that is, and the other one is at Shobden, doing the same sort of thing. I think we need to question this one, because I think if it's setting a precedent, we need to do something about it, because normal parachute zones are 2 nautical miles. And even in strong winds from 12,000 feet, normal parachutists would only be 1.5 miles upwind of the centre of the drop zone. Right, and that's about it, folks, on the airspace wise. I think there's gliders on the runway already, isn't there? Yeah, so we're gridding on the runway. And we'll be launching, the winch launching from the grass on the south side near the control tower. We'll set up fairly shortly, and hopefully see you out there.